Hi guys, and welcome to Nip Tuck. This is the final recording that I'm doing without my little Ashley. And do you know what? As much as I whinge about the cow, I've missed her. Have you missed her, Lucas?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've really missed her. It feels like I've done quite a lot on my own now, but I've had great guests. So here we are. Right, I have got a guest on for you today, guys. I just said on an Instagram video this morning, I feel like I'm doing quite serious shit at the minute. I'm like, what's he called? Louis Theroux. I'm like Lauren Theroux at the minute. Like, I feel like I'm doing some serious stuff, but I think it's really important stuff. So the guest I have on today is Loyce. Now, we're going to get into her story a little bit more, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of idea about why we've got Loyce on today. So Loyce came out and did a video about a situation where she was raped on a night out, and we're going to go into detail. We're going to talk a little bit further about it. And the video was sent to me actually by quite a few people. And Ashley also sent it to me. And weirdly, I was going to send it to Ashley because I watched this video and I just thought, wow, this woman, the way she speaks, the way she describes everything, the situation that she was in is something that's really, really important for us to share with our listeners and to kind of get some awareness on as well and talk about. We're a female podcast, and I think this is really, really important. So I've got Loyce on today. So you may have seen Loyce's video. When I last checked, it had about 18,000 likes, something like 2,500, 3,000 forwards on. It had about 700 comments. It had something like 2,000 reshares. And as I say, a lot of people saw it and a lot of my friends saw it as well. Now, we've just had a little chat. I've just had a chat with Loyce before we came on because she just said to me, after she made this video, there was some backlash. There was some people picking apart her story. There were people getting involved. There were people saying she potentially wasn't telling the truth. And there was a bit of because I'd looked at the story, it was on my For You page a lot, and I was seeing a lot of noise. And listen, we have built Nip Tuck for 4 years now. We care about what we do. Every move we make, we care about. It's our baby. And I would be lying if I said there wasn't a couple of conversations where we kind of looked at it and we were like, okay, this girl's now getting quite a lot of backlash. Are things turning? She's been called a liar. Is this something that we should take on? Are we going to then get in a little bit of trouble for this? And there was a little bit of a conversation. And in the end, it was my call, really, because Ashley said, listen, Lauren, it's your episode, it's your call, I'll back you, whatever. Our management team said, again, girls, we trust you, it's your call. So I did think about it, not for very long, but I did think about it. And I decided, no. This is our podcast. This is a female podcast. This is about supporting women. And if I be a little bit of a coward and a scaredy cat and I think, oh, this story isn't perfect and, oh, people are saying she might be lying and that they're saying she'd had a drink. Oh God, what if it causes a problem for it? So I thought, no. Then I am just as bad as the people that are doing this. And I am just as bad as the reason that people don't come forward for these things. And that's not what I want to do. So she's here. I want to hear a story, support her. And yeah, let's go. Loyce, welcome.
Thank you so much for that introduction. That was such a lovely way of putting everything across.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Very kind words.
Thank you.
I'm very happy to be here. I'm very excited, and I'm genuinely so grateful that you still gave me the opportunity to come and speak.
Absolutely, you deserve it. So let's go back. A lot of people may not have watched that video. Mm-hmm. So if you've watched the video, you will know what I'm talking about, and you're like, oh my God, right, yeah. If you haven't, we're going to act as if people haven't watched that video. Okay. Yeah. So was it how long ago now? About a month? Was it about a month ago you came onto Instagram and made your first video?
Yeah, maybe about 3 weeks ago now.
3 weeks.
Yeah,
okay.
Just over 3 weeks ago. I put out my video explaining, my story.
Yeah.
I put it out there online. I was in a position where I was thinking about doing it, and I just thought, right, what is the best way to put it out there? Mm-hmm. What's the best way to put it as coherently and as clearly as possible? Because it was such a long period of time, So I thought, let me break it up into chunks.
Yep.
But with each chunk, I need time to kind of process the fact that I've put information out there. So I thought, let me do it on a weekly basis where I can manage it. Yeah. I also just put it on one platform as well. I didn't like YouTube it, TikTok it, just Instagram. But the whole point was to share my story of what happened to me and the fact that I reported to the police, and just so people can know what happened.
Process. What
The
happened?
process, yeah, because so many women don't report. So many women don't report. And so when I reported, I didn't know the process.
So when I had a little look at this, the stats say that 5 out of 6 women don't report it. That's a huge.
That's huge.
Huge. So 5 out of 6 women
5 out of 6.
have been sexually assaulted in some way and haven't taken it any further. How scary is that?
Scary.
And I'm hoping that with what you've done and the strength you've had and the way you've told your story, not only will it give somebody else the strength to be like, no, I'm going to do this, I can do this, but also to understand the process. Because I think when you look at that, you're like, I don't even know what you talk through it. So can we go back? Can we hear your story, basically?
Okay. Well, I mean, I went out on a night out with a friend, and it was her birthday.
It was her birthday, wasn't it?
It was her birthday, yeah. And we'll go back onto that again. But yeah, it was her birthday, and we went to an event. I got there before her. She was like, yep, just wait for me, don't worry, I'll come and take care of you, kind of thing. There were some people that I could have waited with, but the people she suggested, that they didn't come, so I was waiting there by myself. And then I saw a guy, he gave me a shot that was from a platter of shots. I watched it, so we drank it together, all good. And then my friend comes, and then the guy as well that I saw, he was waiting for his friends, and they all kind of came at the same time. So it was like a big hello to everybody, kind of like, hey, quick selfies or whatever with my friend. And then we were off on the dance floor, and we were having the night of our lives. She looked amazing, I looked amazing, we were having a great time. And then it just all goes dark. There's little things I can remember, and I'm talking about the smallest things. I'm talking about like moving bags and things like that. Not
like just the
tiniest little detail, like maybe stepping up on the stage or something of the room, but nothing I remember is of substance to say that changes the story.
How long of the night how long are we talking before things went?
I'm telling you about 45 minutes.
Wow.
I'm going to say an hour. Just to kind of, but an hour, because what makes it worse, again, little details I left out. There's a screenshot, there's a photo that I have on my phone that I took that night.
Right.
It was at 9:31, and I have no recollection of it.
So you'd been when did you go out? Was it
exactly? I got there maybe about 8:20. Again, I'm trying to remember the times. Maybe I got there about 8:20. By the time I spoke to my friend and she got there, maybe it was about 8:45.
So you don't remember something that happened like an hour, like let's give it longer for the sake of it, an hour, you don't remember that? I
promise you, there's a picture in my phone that I took. Even the picture that I took was ridiculous. I took a picture of someone's number on their phone, as in it's like a silly, like you'd look at it and think, why would you even do that? You just take the number. Yeah. Why you take the number, right? Why would you take a picture of a number? So and I looked at the timestamp and it said 9:31 p.m. and I was like, I don't remember taking that picture. So from then I was gone.
Nothing.
But that's the thing. I left out little details as I was speaking. But yeah, I literally woke up. Well, it wasn't even me that woke myself up. I was awoken by the person.
So just to make this really, really clear, met your friends. Hello, everyone. Group of people. Took a shot. Blah, blah, blah. Dancing. Woke up.
And it was like literally like that, literally every single time I even act that out, my body starts to literally, God, I don't want to cry.
No,
every time I remember
tissues.
God.
Tissues, anybody. Lucas always has tissues, a snotty guy.
I'm gonna be okay. Don't worry. I'll be all right. I can handle it. But I just remember waking up and it was like, what's going on?
I can't even imagine.
It was the scariest thing.
And so another thing just to caveat, guys, just to mention here. So Loyce, which we're going to get to, she's been through the entire court proceedings. That's all done.
Yeah.
She is allowed to tell her story, okay, from her version of events. What we're not going to do, and what I think's been really good about this, you've not said what club you were at, what place. So we don't want this guy to be, it's not about the guy. It's not about tracing. She's left out certain details to almost protect that because we don't want a manhunt. It's not about that. It's about sorting this fucking story out. Yeah. Okay. So you wake up. He woke you up.
He woke me up, and it was like, got to get up and go to work kind of thing. And I'm kind of like, wait, what? What is even going on? And I'm like, what am I doing here? I was so confused. I was genuinely I described it as, when you wake up from a nap and you're like
disorientated.
This was on another level. And it was just the scariest thing because it was like, I can't account for anything. I can't say what's happened. I literally have no idea. And as I'm figuring things out, I'm realizing I haven't got my phone. I've asked for my phone. You haven't got your phone. I've realized I got my friend's phone. And that's when the panic really set in because it was like, okay, no.
Whoa.
What on earth has happened here? And now I'm thinking, what's happened to my friend? What
Yeah.
if my friend is dead? What
Yeah.
if, what has happened?
Yeah.
And when I'm asking questions, it was like, yeah, you were wasted. You know, security was asking for help for you to get home and you were there till 3 a.m. And I'm like, 3 a.m.? I remember planning to leave at about 10:30, 11. I remember thinking, right, by midnight, I'll be home and I'll be in bed because we're in Central. So it wasn't going to be difficult for me to get home. So for me, I was just like, oh, what? I was out till 3 and you're piecing everything. You're trying to, and he's the one
And this is
controlling the narrative.
You're seeing this man. Did you recognize him? Was he the guy that gave you the shot?
No.
No, wasn't him.
No.
Because you remember that.
I'd remember that. I'd remember him. And he was, that guy was my type.
Right.
Yeah.
And this guy was not your type.
No.
And what was his demeanor towards you?
At first it was like, oh yeah, this is, what happened kind of thing. And then when I then got to a point where I was like, did we do anything? That's when the demeanor changed. Because it was like, it almost felt like, it's like someone's been honest and they said, yeah, you were wasted. Like you were finished kind of thing. And then, oh, where's my stuff? Oh, you haven't got it. And it was like, okay, did we do anything? Yeah, we did three times. You don't remember?
So it went from being kind of like kind and saying you were wasted to kind of like, what do you mean you don't remember?
Yeah.
But the other stuff was okay.
I wouldn't even say kind. It wasn't that he was
No.
kind. It was that he was just willing to explain what happened.
Right.
And then once it changed to, did we do anything? Then the demeanor changed to, yeah, 3 times. You don't remember. And I'm thinking, but I've just asked you how we got here. So why would I remember that? I don't remember anything. I'm literally looking at this man thinking, I don't even know who you are. You could have picked me up from the streets for all I know.
No idea.
I'm literally just very confused.
And you're in his house?
I'm in the house. Yep. I'm in his house. And then I panic.
Yeah.
I start to panic. I was just like, what on earth is going on? And then the mother came and it was like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know why I'm here. And then I got him to get me a cab. Well, he got me a cab because I had nothing. I literally had nothing and I had to go home. The other thing I managed to do was to call my workplace. I had to ask for it though. I had to ask for the phone because I had nothing. I was like, I need to call my workplace, and let them know. And the colleague I spoke to, she was fine. She was like, yeah, no problem. So there's been rumors that this is because I missed work.
Wow, that's a big thing to do just to get out of missing a day of work.
Yeah,
Wow.
right. Like,
come on, a sickness bug would have been fine.
Honestly. So, yeah. So
how was the mother with you?
She was just like, what's going on?
Confused.
What's going on? Kind of thing. And I was like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know. And he kind of told his mum to leave. He was like, Mum, leave. And it was like, you're scaring my mum right now. Can you stop crying? And I was like, I remember just thinking, there's more concern about, okay, I get it, that's your mum, but it's like, there's a random girl in your house, like, that's crying. Like, this is not okay. This is not okay.
Did he at any point sort of sit you down and kind of explain everything and kind of say, like, listen, don't worry? Like,
Nope. And do you know what's weird? I'm not even, I have to say this carefully because I don't want to give people suggestions, give people ideas.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if he was more like, listen, I know this is scary, this and this has happened, but look, you got a bit wasted. I brought you home. Yeah. Things happen, but I don't want you. If there was that kind of energy, he may have convinced me.
Yeah.
He may have made me think, okay, maybe I just did too much, but he had to take care of me. But when the demeanor changed and when it was like, you're scaring my mum, can you stop crying? When it was all of that and I asked, where's my friend? Oh, she left you. And I'm like, she left me?
So he was a hero.
Exactly. So for me, the narrative was like, I came and I saved the day because you were a damsel in distress and you didn't even know that you were a damsel in distress because you were that out of it.
But we still had sex.
But we still had sex, by the way.
Right.
So.
And you had obviously no recollection of it.
None.
So
what scared me even more, actually, I thought of women who are date raped in terms of they literally go on a date and someone maybe put something in their drink. Because I thought, if he was my type, I may have thought I overdid it. And I may have thought I had consented, maybe.
And if you'd been on a date, you would have gone on a date with your type. So if you'd have woken up with someone that you thought, I could see how maybe, because you do, don't you? You think, that you want to think the best.
It. Right.
Because you don't want the truth sometimes.
Right. Sometimes you don't want to face the truth.
Yeah. But he wasn't your type and you just knew I would never.
Exactly. That's the thing. So that was part of what made me go, nah, there's just no way. There's no, like, that's what it was. But I just thought, oh my gosh, imagine being on a date and the CCTV shows you having a great time. But you've woken up next to someone you weren't planning to. And you're thinking, I don't remember the night. Why don't I remember?
Yeah.
That's how everything works against you. This is why I understand why women don't report.
Yeah.
You already have so much going against you to even make that initial, report to the police. So yeah, I remember thinking, if he was my type,
I might have lied to myself a bit.
I might have lied to myself and thought maybe I overdid it.
Yeah.
But
you knew.
If he was also very like, I understand, I might have bought into it as well. Well,
kind of good that didn't happen.
But I can't prove it.
But you can't prove it.
And that's, again, you're against so much. The current is constantly coming against you when it comes to these kind of cases, So you're talking about little microaggressions that I've seen in the behaviour that I can't prove. No one was there.
No one was there. And this is the problem with this kind of thing. So you get his phone, you call work, and then where did you go from his? Where did you go?
He got me a cab.
Okay.
He got me a cab and...
did you even have his number?
No. I remember I didn't even have my phone.
Right.
I didn't even have my phone.
Okay.
So
you just said bye.
It was just, I can't remember exactly what the words were, the parting words were, but I just remember just getting in the cab and just kind of acting okay and then just suddenly bursting into tears again. And I remember the cab driver being like, do you want me to call the police? Are you okay? Do you want me to get you food? Like, he literally was like, what do I do with this girl? Yeah, like, she's in distress. And I was like, can we go to my letting agent? Because I was like, I want to go home because I want to gather myself.
Yeah.
But I also don't know what to do because I haven't got keys. So I literally was like, let's go to the letting agent. No keys. So I also was thinking, just in case he took the keys, I don't want him to see the Uber go to my house because he'll know where I live. I thought if we also go to the letting agent, he won't know where I live exactly.
Right.
I was also part of it. So yeah, so we've gone to the letting agent. I've walked in and straight away they're like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And I was just like, hi, you manage one of the properties that I live in, and I just wanted to get a spare key. And they were like, but what's happened to you?
Yeah.
They were like, we can give you a spare key.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. Okay? But yeah, they were more like, you've also lost your key, so you may have to replace it. Like, we're more so thinking safety wise, are you okay? So as I sit down, they were like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I went out yesterday for my friend's birthday and I've woken up in someone's house. I don't know where my friend is. I was like, I don't know what's happened to me now. I didn't know what I looked like. But the letting agent told me.
Not great.
I mean, once I saw myself, I was like, oh my, I haven't got a wig, as in this is a half wig, but I haven't got like a wig where it's like I've glued it. It was coming off. Like oh God, I looked so bad, like so disheveled. I remember, again, little details that I left out, when I was there, the letting agent was like, do you want me to get you some food? And I was like, can I have a cup of tea? When he gave me a cup of tea, my hand was literally shaking. I was shaking as I was drinking it. He was like, let me get you a sandwich. I was like, okay, tuna sandwich, please. He got me a tuna sandwich. I was shaking. Like, bless him, he even made a little joke. He was like, oh, bless you, you're hungry. I was like, I don't remember the last time.
You don't even know when you ate.
I don't know if I ate last night. I literally don't know anything. Like, when I say, that was, it haunts me. Yeah. It haunts me. But the letting agent made the call for me straight away. Again, I'm scared. I don't know what's happened. I haven't spoken to anyone. I haven't collected my thoughts to know. And again, you start to tell yourself, is it me? Am I the one? Am I right? This guy, he didn't kill me. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
is he that bad?
Is he that bad?
I'm safe.
Yeah, but he's also not my type. So I know I wouldn't have said this to him. And I plan to go home. So I'm doing all of that. And the letting agent has called the police. So I've gone, no, please. He was nice. He was kind. He's not a criminal. It's fine. Like, I'm not a victim. But I was scared. And so defense would know that, for example.
Yeah.
They would know, they're trauma informed.
Yeah.
So they will use that against me to say, well, you know, are you sure? And I'm like, I didn't know what happened to me.
Yeah.
The call was made for me.
And you were still processing?
I was still processing everything. I spoke to my friend after the call was made. So if I had spoken to her before, where we kind of were like, okay, where were you? Where were you? And we pieced it together a bit. Okay, you were taken there, I was taken here. Okay, that wasn't part of the plan. I would have been a bit more confident when the call was made.
But surely when people make these calls, a lot of the time, if they make them, well, any of the time, it's so traumatizing. You're not going to be in your right state because this has just happened.
This has just happened. Like I've just never had it before. I've never had a situation like that before. And it's only people who have had that kind of situation that would understand. Like, honestly, when I woke up that morning, the next day I remember thinking, I wonder how sex traffic victims must feel. To be out somewhere and you wake up and you're in this place and the rest of your existence,
it's gone.
The rest of your existence is to give men sex. Like, I honestly, like, that situation made me think, gosh, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
It really can, because to wake up somewhere that I didn't plan on being, it was awful.
And that's why it's important for us to talk about this, because I think it happens, well, we know 5 out of 6 don't report it. I think this happens. And also, interesting stat, 1 in 18 men have been sexually abused as well. So it was 1 in, let me just check, because I looked at all of this because I was like interested in it. And I think it was 1 in 4 women.
Yeah.
1 in 4 women have been raped or sexually abused after the age of 16. 1 in 4. So there's a lot of people that will be listening to this episode that your story, they're starting to perhaps panic and it's starting to bring something out that they've
been through.
About.
This is the thing. That's why it's so difficult when people falsify a woman who comes forward, because it's like the stats are loud.
Yeah.
The stats are showing that we don't live in the safest world.
No.
But when someone comes forward and says, this is what happened to me, you pick apart everything to possibly make it that she wanted it.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
and this is the problem
really
with it.
sad.
This is something that we spoke about. One of the things that you said in one of your videos, which I think really kind of resonated with me. Me and my husband actually watched it together, and he sat, and this, you know, it's a bloke, mouth open, and he was going, no, what, no, and you said at one point when you think of someone being raped, you would think of, you know, a caricature of someone jumping out of a bush with the hood up and perhaps raping them in the park or the street, and it's absolutely categorically this happened. She was walking, someone raped her.
Exactly.
The perfect victim, as we were talking about before.
Exactly.
But one of the things that I don't know the stats, but I reckon the majority is what we said earlier before we recorded, is it's not a perfect victim.
I am not the perfect victim, and I'm going to declare that loud and clear.
Yeah.
I was not the perfect victim. I was not.
And when we say that, what we mean is, if you were cross-examined.
If I'm cross-examined, there are loopholes in my argument. And part of the reason why I have those loopholes is because my memory was completely wiped. And so I'm fighting against even more. It's not even like I remember the
So you can't say he did this. Then I said, no, I moved the side.
I can't do any of that. I can't
no
do
one
any
else
of
was
that,
there.
you know? And yeah, the perfect victim unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. Before, like I said, someone will jump out of somewhere, they look mysterious. But at the same time, that is what kids' books taught us as well.
Yeah.
Little Red Riding Hood taught us that the big bad wolf looks a certain way.
Yeah.
And I was saying Scooby-Doo taught us that monsters hide behind real life people.
Yeah.
You remove the mask and, oh, it was you all along.
It was you all along.
Do you remember at the end?
Yeah, I do.
They'll be like, wait, it was you.
Yeah.
Like, it really is like that. It can be your lawyer or your teacher or your doctor.
There was
or
a stat that actually
masseuse doing it. Anyone.
Actually, I can't remember the exact number. I can't, but I saw it, and it was a high stat anyway. That actually a lot of rape and sexual assault is carried out by someone you know. She's so high, so high. So tell me, you police come. You go home, because I obviously I know the story. You go home, you start to gather your thoughts.
Yeah.
Police come round. How was that? How was that situation of explaining to them? How were they?
It was 2 ladies.
Okay.
It was 2 women
Good.
that came, and they were incredible. They
Right.
just sat down. They were just like, we're here to hear your story. Please just let us know what you know.
Right.
And I was just like, okay. And I sat them down and I said, I don't have my phone, and we used my phone to call we used their phone to call my phone.
Your phone.
Yeah,
to
we
try and
used
find it.
their phone to call my phone. And the girl answers the phone. And she's like, hey, I've got your phone, kind of thing. I was like, hey, it's the girl from last night. I was like, what did I say on it? Hold on. She was like, hey. And I was just like, hey, you have my
You've got
phone.
my phone. Yeah.
That's it. And she was like, oh, it's you, kind of thing. She was like, hey. And I was like, I think my drink was spiked last night. And she was like, oh my gosh, babe, same. She was like, there's something in those drinks. I don't know what it was. And I was just like, girl, I ended up with someone last night and they ended up sleeping with me. And she screamed. She was like, I'm so sorry. This should have never happened to you. I'm so sorry. This should have never happened to you. And the police took the phone and they were like, hi, you know, because they heard everything. I'm kind of looking at them and looking at me.
You were thinking, thank God you're listening. Like,
yeah,
look, I'm not making it up.
This is great. This is what I need. And straight away they were like, you know, would you be willing to give a report kind of thing? It's just like, yeah, no problem. And they came off the phone. And then after I was able to speak to her after and get my phone back, I went with my mum to get it back. Again, little details that I left out. My friend got her phone back again as well. Little details that I left out. But I think, those little details were neither here nor there. Yeah.
So you both got your phones back.
So I've spoken to my girl. I've spoken to this other girl as well. The police have connected all of this and they're like, whoa, there's something going on here, you know?
Because didn't you say that one of the other girls that was there, similar?
Yes, sorry, I'm even leaving things out. Yes, so another girl reached out to me a couple days later and she was like, hey babe, I'm looking for you. You okay? And I was just like, hey, yeah, something happened. And she was like, yeah, we were together that night. She was like, we reconciled. And I was like, I don't remember. Again, I don't remember anything.
You just don't know anything.
She was like, yeah, we reconciled and we were planning to go home together. And I was like, oh. And she was like, and then we got separated. And she woke up somewhere else. You know, so again, the police spoke to her. They were asking if she was willing to give a statement. And at first she said yes, but she didn't end up giving one in the end. But yeah, it was quite a few of us girls.
So when obviously your initial thoughts were, so I've been spiked. Because what else explains this? Because surely even if you'd had, how many shots in that hour? It's an hour. It's hard. Listen, I've been blackout. From my own choice. Took me longer than 40 minutes. Like, do you know what I mean? So
this is what I'm saying.
So you thought, so who...
It takes a long time to black out.
In your mind, do you have a point when you think that happened?
Yes, I think.
You think. This is what
I think. I can only explain it from my perspective.
Absolutely.
My friend bought 2 drinks from the bar. As in, so, you know, we're on the dance floor, we're having a good time. And then she goes off at some point and then comes back and she was like, someone bought us drinks. One was a pineapple and something, one was a Coca-Cola and something.
Fantastic.
And I remember I took the Coca-Cola and something and I took a sip. And that for me, I believe, is the last memory that that is like,
it's the only time you can kind
clearest,
of when it could have happened.
Because do you know what? I remember being on the dance floor and someone coming to me and going, hey girl, your boob. And no one would ever have to tell me that. On a normal day, no one would ever have to tell me that because I would have control over my clothes.
Yeah.
But just little things like that, I'm like, my mind was probably starting to go.
Then.
And I didn't even know. But it was too late. Like, honestly, it feels like almost like I was in the movie Get Out or something.
Yeah.
I was in my own body just like in a sunken place. Because honestly, I don't know.
And
I just don't remember.
Again, I'm mindful of what we say because it's your point of view. You know, with the court cases being and gone. So, do you think that potentially this was like a planned thing? That potentially the person had thought, "I'm going to put this in a drinking." Does your friend remember who she got the drinks off?
To this day, I don't know who the drinks were given.
CCTV, does that show it?
So CCTV was saying it was a minefield inside.
Right.
Apparently it was a minefield. And I was like, so how does CCTV work?
Because I've watched 24 Hours in Police Custody and the CCTV finds people. So how could they not see?
And I'm just like, hello, there's cameras on the roads that can pick up if I'm on the phone in my car.
This is what I mean. So they couldn't see who passed the drink.
They couldn't see anything? Like, I was just like, I was a bit disappointed at that.
Do you think it wasn't taken as seriously?
No, I think they took it seriously.
Okay.
I think what it is, though, is... For example, I didn't have a hair strand taken. And that, sometimes I do wonder why. And I wonder if maybe police did enough to get evidence to show that we had had sex.
Okay.
Rather than to prove spiking.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know.
So, but right, okay. So there's loads to kind of go through there. So if you don't mind me asking, did you have examinations?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did. I went to the Haven.
Okay.
They examined me. I also had a urine sample taken by the police.
And was that kind of pretty much straight away?
That was, they got to the place maybe about 11. So, yeah, it was straight away.
And how did you find it when you had, for anyone that's considering this, for anyone that could go, hopefully, God forbid, but go through it in the future, were they kind? Were they caring? Was it okay when you went there?
Yeah,
the police, and then the Haven when they examined all...
Yeah, they were absolutely amazing. They were so considerate. And it was not, when I say unfortunately, it was a male that ended up examining me, and they let me know beforehand and they explained themselves, as to why. And he was very careful, very conscious of me. So
that side of it, if anyone was needing to do that.
Yes. Thank you actually for that. Yeah, that's just for anyone who wants to report that. You will get a lot of support in terms of with the Haven and hopefully the police as well, because I have heard sad cases where the police don't believe.
Where they've not been as helpful.
Yeah, they've not been as helpful. They've dismissed cases.
The examined you, was that kind of to prove, I guess, that you had sex?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was to prove that we had sex.
Potentially if it had been...
Because he might have gone, well, I didn't have sex with her.
Right.
You know,
so that needed to be proven,
I think.
And then the urine sample was to see whether, you know, the toxicology report, to see what was in your...
what was in my body.
Blood and body. Okay, urine and body. Did they do a blood test or like a hair? They didn't do the hair.
They didn't do a hair strand test, no. And I do wonder why. Why. Because I've been asked and I'm like, as far as I know, no.
Right. So all this happened.
Hair, what would the hair be for?
You can find more out. And in your urine, certain drugs can break up really quickly
Okay.
and won't show in your system. And that is why it's often a drug of choice for people doing that, because by the time it's reported, because don't forget, Loyce did it really quick because she went to the letting agency and they kind of forced it. She may have sat there overnight and pondered on this and had a minute. By the time you get the courage potentially to go and do it, some of these drugs aren't in you.
But do they do blood?
Did they do blood?
I believe, they did. They did a blood test.
And then there's hair as well.
But yeah, with hair, drugs can stay in the in the hair follicles for way longer. So up to a month after, you know. So that's why I wonder, why didn't they take a hair strand?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So you had all the examinations. And what was the process kind of after that? Do they go and arrest him?
So I didn't know
much
about the other side.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't updated. Like, they didn't call me and say, we've arrested him today or anything like that. It doesn't work like that. But they let me know that he was taken for questioning. That kind of thing. It's more updates like that. So you don't get like action updates, kind of like, oh, this is... No, it's not like that. It's more like, okay, he's been taken in for questioning and he pled not guilty.
Right.
That kind of thing.
So you found that out?
Yeah, so I found that out. And then it was like, yeah, he's been charged. So I'm trying to remember even which way it is actually. Yeah. He's been charged. Yeah, he pled not guilty, so he'd been charged on 3 counts of rape.
Okay.
And I made it very clear in my story. I didn't say he spiked me.
No.
I didn't.
Well, because you didn't know.
Because I didn't know. What I said was my friend bought drinks. The next minute I know, I've been awoken.
Okay.
I never said he put anything in my drink. No. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I do know, of course, when we get there is what I saw from the evidence that I was given. But I'll wait for us to get. I don't want to preempt it.
So, interestingly, just a quick stat for you guys. Only 3% of cases that are reported to the police go any further and result in a charge. So that's not like...
3%?
Yeah. Let me check it.
I knew it was a 3%.
Less than 3% of reports are charged. So that's where someone's gone and said, and I've got this off, I've got this from legit. Yeah, it's from one of the websites, one of the help support websites. So this is people that have gone and said to the police, I've been raped, and only 3% actually end up with that person being charged, not being found guilty, charged. So that's
it was just conviction rates that are at 3%. 3%.
The conviction rates are higher than I thought they'd be. They're still low, but they're a bit higher. It's more that little bit there. And I guess it's because there's not enough to even charge them. So even back at the beginning.
Yeah.
So you found out he's been questioned, non-guilty. What happens then? How quick is the process? Because I know some can take up to 2 years.
Yes, that is pretty much what it was like for me. So I remember, I think I found out end of 2024 that he had been charged. And then they got back to me maybe January or February. They got back to me and basically said, yeah, your trial's listed for February 2026. Okay. And my heart broke. Yeah. Because I was like, I now have to kind of work on healing, but then I'm gonna have to relive this.
No closure.
And no closure. Like I was just like, that is such a long time.
And I the average is like 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like there should be a slight reform in that department. I feel like when it comes to rape cases, I feel like making people wait for such a long time. I mean, there's murder as well.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's just,
but we've said there's no right or wrong.
Yeah, I'm just literally like making people wait. That was quite excruciating for me. You have pockets of joy, but you just know this thing is coming.
hanging
You know, like
over.
like anxiety is like this feeling of impending doom.
Yes.
That's what it's like. Imagine knowing that there's going to be a really horrible time in your life, and you know it's coming. It was that.
So it's like
And that
having a
wasn't
really
nice
happy
living
day
it.
and a happy moment, but then the back of your head,
It's
then you
short-lived.
remember and you're like, oh God, yep, that's that thing.
It was all So joy became short lived for me. I was just like not, you know.
Did you know who he was?
Nope.
So after it happened, you'd seen him by this point. People talk. People know people. Things get out. Did you get an idea of who he was? Did anyone say, oh, I heard it's such and such? Did he speak to any friends? Was there any background, or was it just literally like nothing?
When I was figuring out who he was, there were some things that I'd heard.
Okay.
Definitely. But because the case is done, like I won't say some of the things that I've heard about him
Okay.
behind closed doors, just because I know that may cause.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some things definitely
got a
that
bit of an
came
idea
back
of-
to me.
right.
Definitely,
Okay.
it was like, this is what we know, this is what we've heard,
Yeah,
this is what
'cause
we
you
know,
do,
this is
you
what
do your
we've
digging.
heard.
Okay.
Yeah, there was things that I was hearing back years, and I was like, okay. Okay. But all of that can't be used in
No.
court. It's all
No.
hearsay.
It's
So
hearsay.
that's why I'm not saying it now.
I agree with you on
Yeah.
doing that. So the day of the trial, how's that? How does it go? Is he sat on a dock in like the dock? What does he?
Oh my gosh, the trial day. Oh my gosh. Literally go in, and then the police are like, defense has asked for you to watch the CCTV. And I was like, there was CCTV? Because just to let you know as well, if you do report, you're going to be kept in the dark. And it's not necessarily the nicest feeling, but you are kept in the dark.
you have
Because
no
what
idea.
happens is, although you've reported the crime, you become the witness. And so it becomes the state against the defendant, as in the
Wow.
suspect. Yeah. And so even on the paperwork, it's the king against the suspect.
Okay.
So because of that, because you're just a witness, you don't get to see all the paperwork and kind of sit with the police and go, well, let's put this together. No. All of that is none of your business. The police basically do the report and investigation on your behalf.
So they don't ring you and say, listen, we've checked the CCTV, and just to let you know, we can see this.
Nothing.
Wow.
There was no, I didn't even get told they had CCTV. I didn't even get told they had a toxology report. Nothing. Nada.
Until that day.
Until that day. Then it was like, yep, you're going to watch CCTV. So I was like, oh, you have CCTV? And the police officer was like, you know, so I was there like, okay.
I bet you're thinking, good.
Yeah, I'm thinking good, but then I'm thinking, what am I going to see?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, good, but what am I going to see?
Yeah.
What I saw
Tell us what you saw.
someone I didn't recognize. Like my hair, like everything. My shoes were off in the rain. I was throwing up. I could barely sit. There was a flower bed. Like imagine like this is flowers on there. And there was a security guard that was helping me. He was literally stabilizing me because that's how far gone I was. I was acting like a child, like waving, you know, to someone at some point, you know. I was kind of moving around, stumbling across. There was a point I was even like sliding down a wall, and I got to the bottom in a squatting position, and I just toppled over, and they had to pick me back up, and they were holding my head up, you know, and I could see the suspect kissing another girl, you know, and they were there for a while. And then lo and behold, in this kerfuffle of, I could see, you know, these men are left with me and they're trying to help me get home, and I could see myself giving the wrong postcode, and I could literally tell I could tell it was the postcode. I could see my lips. I could see it, and then I see myself kissing the suspect.
So this is really important. This is really important because this is where the perfect victim, like we talked
Goes out
about
the
before,
window.
goes out the window, because then you've got someone saying,
Well,
you were kissing him.
Kissed though. And I'm looking, and I remember at first, like when I'm watching the police, I was like, oh my gosh, like I was just like, oh yeah, no, he's definitely,
Yeah.
what? This is so
Yeah,
clear,
it's
you know,
so
and
obvious.
literally so obvious. And the police officers, they can't say much, so they're just sitting there going. And then when I see myself like gesturing, like, you know, for him to come towards me, and he comes towards me, and like, and we start kissing, I suddenly just cower in my seat, and I'm like, wait, hold on, wait, what? I was like, huh? And the police officer's calm, but she's kind of like, just keep watching kind of thing. And I just carried on watching. I'm looking at this and I'm really uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. And again, it was that moment of, Loyce, you are not the perfect victim. You look like you're having a great time here.
Yeah.
And the only saving grace I have is that wrong postcode.
Yeah.
That's
that you
literally
were
it.
that fucked, you couldn't even say your postcode.
That,
Well,
and
you were
I-
being
some
sick.
people-
You were falling off the flower bed, for fuck's sake.
The thing is, the being sick and the falling off is one thing, but for me, the wrong postcode thing is literal. Like it's literally clear.
Yeah.
She is not here.
She doesn't even know her address.
She doesn't know her address. And there was someone there that knew me, that knew I was giving the wrong postcode. So that means that the people there would have been informed she's giving the wrong postcode. So as far as I'm concerned, everybody that is around me in that moment should know she's not here.
She's gone.
She's gone.
So you
And
get into an
CPS
Uber.
would have seen that kiss as well, because
Yeah.
people are like, well, you kissed. And I remember I was scared. I was like, but I was reminded CPS saw this kiss too.
So CPS is the Crown Prosecution Service.
Sorry, yes.
And they're the ones that basically decide whether there is enough to charge somebody with an offence. So they look at everything and then they say, we still think, we've seen the kiss, we still think that this needs to go to trial.
Exactly. And these are sometimes the questions that I want people to have if they hear cases of other victims and they feel like there's some inconsistencies. For it to go through to CPS, which isn't necessarily a good thing, it takes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So if CPS saw a kiss and saw me gesturing for something, what still made them put it through?
Mm-hmm.
They must have seen more.
Yeah.
Prosecution must have had a case.
Or they wouldn't have done it.
Otherwise they wouldn't have done it.
So then you get in the Uber. It shows you getting in with him.
Yeah. Well, as in I see myself being taken by two men, as in one on one side, one on the other. I believe one of them was the suspect, and you could just see me kind of waddling with them.
And then there's
going off to
another
a
man
car.
helping him get you in.
Yeah. And I get in the car and I was just watching myself thinking, oh gosh, like you could have died that day. Yeah. You could have died.
Anything like, well, it did happen, but you say you could have died. What other evidence was there that when it came down to it,
mm-hmm.
what was they were picking you apart, weren't they? And they were looking for flaws in all your stories.
That's the one thing I have to say for women who do want to come forward. And that's part of why I've shared my story. Because I think, bless, a lot of women have been like, Loyce, you're so strong. And I'm like, but I want you to see your strength. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to be that Loyce is an idol and Loyce is an icon. I want women to understand what they can do. Yeah. If I could do it, you could do it. If I could be cross-examined, completely torn to shreds, and I'm still alive, and I still have breath in me,
and you're telling people, you're talking about,
telling people I can still experience joy. I can still, you can do it too, as long as you have the right support.
Yeah.
As long as you have people that 100% believe you, you can get through it. And I really want to drive that, because for these cases to get more convictions, we need more people reporting. We also need more people reporting so that we can see trends in cases. Yeah. So we can learn things, and pick out loopholes and say, wait, hold on. There was these thousands of cases that resulted in this way.
Why don't we change it?
But if there aren't enough people reporting, we can't do that. And so there is such a fear, fear mongering that I feel happens. And I don't want you guys to have that. That's what it is that I'm here to do.
So we're going to cut to a break, but what we're going to talk about after the break is the backlash. Okay. We're going to talk about, because this is something that we're about to get onto, is the reason that people don't report it and what can happen afterwards. And we'll get back after the break. Right, guys, we're back. We have blabbed. I could sit here for ages, so I'm going to try and get through this with Loyce and still get all the info that you need. So the backlash. So you do the story. Sorry, actually, I really am missing something here. He was found not guilty.
Yes, he was found not guilty, and I was honest about that. And I was gutted. Yeah. I was absolutely gutted. And I remember when I had the meeting, it just felt a bit like, all right, case closed, lights off, let's go home. Like, that's what it felt like. And I'm like, no.
Am I right in saying that they have to say that this is, let me get this right, beyond all reasonable doubt it happened?
Yes.
So to get that, you kind of almost need to see it happening.
Exactly. And this is why it's so difficult. The best way to know a rape has happened is to see it happen. Mm-hmm. And in most cases, you won't see it happen. No. And then on top of that, not only isn't there the perfect victim, the perfect predator doesn't exist as well. So they come in and they seem like they're a certain way, and they're not. How do you prove that? And that. So this is the position that the jury were in, and this is what the police told me after. I couldn't remember anything. Mm-hmm. So most of the questions that were asked, especially around the intimacy, I had to keep saying, I don't remember. Yeah. I can't recall. I don't remember. I can't recall. And because of that, it meant that I technically had no account. And then he can then fill it up. He did fill it up with the narrative, that he obviously came forward with. And so what the jury ends up being in the position in is, do we believe what Loyce believed happened to her? Or do we believe what the suspect is saying knows happened
Yes.
to her?
Yeah.
That's the position. Now, she doesn't know what happened. This is where prosecution come in or police come in and get, you know, the evidence to show. Why doesn't she remember anything? Oh, there's CCTV to show she was intoxicated. But there was also CCTV, well, not CCTV, a ring door camera footage of me stepping into the house, you know, into the mother's residence. So then defense uses that to say, actually, you sobered up. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Let's look at the timestamps.
Yeah.
I was out of it at about 3 a.m.
Yeah.
By the time we got back, what time was it then? Because you can't tell me someone is sobered up and is
That quick.
coherent to make decisions, even if I can stand. You know, so again, the defense would know all these things and they know how to argue against it. So the jury would have been in the position of, right, Loyce believes this is what happened to her, but she couldn't prove it.
Yeah. So
She's
how
got some
can we say?
to show she was out there, but what if she did sober up? And then this guy is saying he does remember everything.
Yeah. So
What do we do? That's the position the jury's in. So it's with beyond reasonable doubt.
But how do we get round that? Because devil's advocate over here. What if, not in your case necessarily, what if in a case, the lady was intoxicated, but so was he. They were both intoxicated and they both made a choice to do it. She woke up. I've blacked out before, woke up, didn't really remember it. But he was also intoxicated and she did say yes at the time. Like how do we also, I'm here for you and for women, but looking at the
How
other
do you get
side,
around that?
how do we get around that? We can't.
And that is what is difficult in a lot of cases when it comes
Yeah.
to intoxication.
Yeah.
In my case, I think what made it a little bit, what was helpful was he remembered everything.
So he wasn't
So
intoxicated.
he can't have been as intoxicated as me. He remembered everything. He told me first that I got wasted before I saw it in the CCTV.
Yeah. So he knew.
So he was telling the truth.
And I think there's just a quick thing on here. If you, because I've been thinking about this for days, if you listeners have brothers, male friends, sons, let's chat to them around this. Let's talk to them around when is appropriate, not appropriate, and absolutely just not fucking worth doing.
Yeah. If
Do
you
it.
see a
Bring around the
girl-
next day. Bring around the next day. If you see a girl in that kind of wasted way, even if she says to you, no, I'm all right. Come on, let's have a bit. Whatever. Think,
Just
guys,
think.
because
Just don't
she
do it. It's
might
not
wake. Don't
worth
do
it.
it. She might wake up in the morning. You think she was all right, and she wasn't, and then you've got this whole trauma for both of you potentially. So let's be having these conversations with our sons potentially and our male friends. Where listen, if a woman is drunk, just don't do it. Ring her the next day and go on a date and do it. Like, because this could cause you a world of shit, everyone, and traumatize everyone.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one way. And I think the other way that we look at it is women, how do we protect ourselves from this happening
Exactly.
so that we're not even in your position?
Exactly. And the safest thing, honestly, first of all, make sure your location's on. Make sure that someone, at least 3 people in your life, have your location at all times, as in they personally have it.
As in on
Whenever
your
they go
phone,
to-
on the
the phone. Yeah, if they go to your contact, they can have your location. Just ensure that you buy your own drinks. Do you know what? I'm traumatized to the point where even if I watch someone make me a drink, I don't think I would.
Because it's just...
No, I would, because not all men are predators.
No. It's hard,
difficult.
this conversation.
See, it's an ongoing thing. So I'm always out of people that I know. That's what it is. Yes, that's what I was to say. I'm always out of people that I know. And if I take a drink from a man, it's usually from a man that I know now. I don't take drink from men that I don't know. I just don't.
Do you know
Even if
what?
I've
That
watched
is a
it
big
being
one,
made.
girls, because I will be so honest here. Like, if I got bought a drink, I'd be like, fantastic, that's £8. How expensive are drinks? I'd be like, that's £8 in my back pocket, thank you. And you're in the mood and you're like, yeah, girls, free drinks.
And a lot of women sometimes don't want to admit that because it's like, it makes it seem like, well, you're just easy. And it's like, no, like
if you
I was
wanna buy
out
me
for
a
my friend,
drink.
someone bought us drinks and I was grateful. I was like,
Grateful,
oh, you got me
thanks,
one
yeah.
too. You know, there was no like...
No, that's all right. I think it's all
just
right
feel
to say that.
I'm a 90s baby. You know, I wasn't partying in the 90s because obviously I was a kid, but I just feel like there was a day and time where people could just
and
go
you
out
could enjoy time together.
and it was okay.
But unfortunately,
it's
what we
just-
need to do now, girls, is you can't.
just be safe. Stay with your girls at all times. You know, the club setting isn't really the best place to meet someone anyway. But if you do, just make sure someone has your location. Make sure that you watch the drinks being made. Make sure that, you know, stick with the people that you've come with.
That's the other thing as well. I think one of the main things, and I'm guilty of this again. I don't really go out as much now, but I've got a little baby. But one of the things that I'm guilty of is wandering off on my own. I'm a wander offer, and I'm also guilty of if one of my friends wanders off, me being perhaps too pissed to kind of think, where is she? So I think making sure that you are mindful of each other all
Absolutely.
the time, because it's very easy when you get in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, I used to smoke. I'd be in the smoking area, whatever. It's very easy
I
to lose
appreciate your
someone.
honesty.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you don't think, where's my mate? Because you're too busy doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for us to remind women as well. You can get drink. Lucas, did you tell me you can get drink toppers? Because don't forget, we're talking here about someone buying you a drink.
Exactly.
What about someone popping something in your drink?
Yeah, so I know you can get these plastic things that go in tops of bottles, but you can also, I know there are these like sticker things where it almost, do you remember it's like the little pots you used to get as a kid, and you just put the straw in, but it like puts a cover over your glass, and there's a bit that it will allow a straw to go through. But
It seems quite full on, but
I think that's what's needed. I
If
think
this is what's
people need
happening.
to protect themselves, because spiking is going up.
Yeah.
It's a real issue for the police right now, and they just can't quite
get a hold.
deal with it. Just because of how easy it can slip through their fingers. It's tough.
Another thing I just want to talk about here is when you shared your story, I mentioned this at the very beginning, you got some backlash.
I did.
I'm not going to go into who, what, where, because do you know what? In my opinion, that's just taken away from what we're trying to talk about here. But you did get backlash. You got people coming on, making videos, pulling you to bits, pulling your story to bits. And this is something we were just talking about, right, guys? This is what seems to happen when women report this kind of thing. Their character is assassinated. And if we were literally just saying before I came on air, this is my stance on this. Bonnie Blue, we know what she does, can shag 1,000 men in one day. She can still get raped that evening.
Right.
She can still get raped the next day. But what would happen is her character, well, you had sex with all those men. And even that's an extreme, but even just somebody, you've had loads of different, you go on dates all the time, you like to have casual sex, whatever. That kind of thing is brought up, and that picture of a woman is then painted, which then means that she potentially is lying.
Absolutely.
So one thing I do think we need to talk about is if someone does go ahead and report, this could happen. Yours was on a big scale because you did it on social media, but even just in your local town, how do you have the strength to block that out or to be prepared for that? If someone's listening, what's your advice on that?
It's a small principle, but a big one, and you need it to get through, is literally to know who you are.
Yeah.
Like I said, small thing. I haven't said the biggest statement, most extraordinary. You have to have a strong sense of self. You have to be grounded in who you are. You know your body. You know you.
Yeah.
You know what you'd give permission for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know that this event is unusual. This thing that's happened didn't make you comfortable. You have every right to express that discomfort. Every right. And so I did receive backlash.
Yeah.
And people have asked me, how are you? And I think because I've been through the court process where, a lawyer's words, actually has, meaning in terms of a verdict can be reached. I really did see people's opinions as that. But that's because I'm on the other side.
Yeah.
As someone who isn't on the other side, I know there's so many women that would have been watching that would have been like, oh my gosh, I received a DM from someone saying, I was about to share my story and now I'm not going to. And I was like, no, this is not what I wanted, But there was just an online jury that basically surfaced because a few influencers came forward. And what was a shame was I could tell they didn't know the court system because they've gone with everything that the defense was bringing behind the scenes to influence them into believing that I was a liar. But the court summary doesn't say Loyce lied. No. It says there was insufficient evidence to prove this, or
which we've
Loyce
spoken
lied.
about. Makes sense. We get that.
About. And then again, you're also picking apart someone who's already told you it was a not guilty verdict. They weren't the perfect victim. There was holes in their own story, but you're just picking it apart even more.
Yeah.
That is only going to make people more scared. That's it. And some people, again, you might not face it on the internet, but you face it locally.
Yeah,
it could be your
locally,
family.
Yeah.
How many girls go to their mums and say the stepdad is moving different and the mum chooses
to ignore that?
What do you do when it's in your own home?
Yeah.
Sense of self. You have to have a sense of self. And I'm praying that, if you are in such a situation where you can't quite get out and your abuser is still around, that you still feel safe enough to report. You don't deserve to go through, years and years of abuse just because you want to protect or cover for someone. It's just not right. And us as women, we do that. We cover ourselves. I saw a story online, bless, it was someone who supported me. She said that she had a massage on holiday. Her husband was getting a massage as well. From, they both were getting a massage from the opposite sex.
Right.
But the guy that massaged her put his hand in her bra and just touched her boob quickly and, took it out again. And she was really upset by it, and she was just like, why on earth would she do that? She said she kept it to herself for the whole holiday. Sorry, the family had gone on holiday. So she kept it to herself so she didn't ruin the holiday.
I do think as women we do that, and I've done, not with that, but I've done it so many things. We hold it, we feel like we need to keep everyone together. We need to protect everyone. And
you're setting yourself alight, but you're keeping everyone else warm.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They're using the fact that you're killing yourself to keep themselves warm, And so when this lady expressed the story, I was just so sad for her. And one of the comments was like, well, why were you and your husband getting masseuses from the opposite sex?
There you go.
Why are the masseuses being...
Never mind that,
crossing boundaries. It always becomes the victim has to be blamed in some sort of way. I've even had a lady say that she got a guilty verdict and people came for her still when she shared her story. I mean, was like,
if people are going to share it, not everyone's going to share it online, so they're not going to perhaps receive what you've received. But I think that piece of advice is, however,
paramount. You have to have a support system.
You have to have a support system. You have to know, no matter what people say to me, no matter what, I know me. You don't know me. You went there. You don't know what's normal. I do. And if you are strong enough in that, and I think if you keep that at the core of you, people can say what the fucking hell they want, really.
That is literally what it is, and that's the main reason why I gave the know thyself advice first.
Yes.
Because what if you are in a family where they don't believe you? You have to know.
You are strong.
If you can get support, thank God. Find someone, 1, 2, 3 people that will bind with you and say, we stand with you, we believe you, we've got you. Make sure you have that, and you can get through anything. You can. Having a strong sense of self and having support, you can go through anything in this life, honestly. Because the police might not believe you, That's the truth. That's why I'm saying you have to know in yourself.
And be strong in that.
And
it might take a while to get to that, but...
And it might take a while. I've had some work in terms of, I've had a bit of therapy beforehand. So by the time this happened, I think that's part of what drove me to go through with it, because some people have said, oh, you didn't even report it. And I'm like, I didn't have to go through with it. I could have dropped the charges. I could have dropped the case. But I went forward because I realized, wait, hold on. No. This is an injustice.
I'm not doing this. Yeah.
But it's sad how many of us will know an injustice happen and just, it's not right.
So thank you. Honestly, thank you. Your story and it's not just, there's a bigger picture to it. And I think obviously your story, I think the main takeaways for me is you're not the perfect victim, but there isn't one. And the fact that you're really open about that, I trust people when they're more honest, if that makes sense. So the fact that you were kind of saying, I'm not the perfect victim. I'd had a few drinks. I snogged it. But something happened and it was off. And I know in my core, the fact that you're even saying you got not guilty, but you still, and I actually would prefer somebody like you to explain and talk about it, because I think that's the majority of the cases, rather than somebody discuss it who does have the perfect case, because that's not really
it's
real.
Not relatable. That's the truth.
Yeah.
We're not in that.
It's very, it happens, but it's there's more. So I think someone like you who doesn't have the perfect, and like you say, he wasn't the perfect predator, whatever. I think that's really helpful. And I think what we can take away from this is the strength, the fact that you've helped so many women.
Thank you.
And if anyone is listening and has been in this situation as a friend, whatever, it's learning to protect ourselves, speak to the men in your family. I can't stress how important this is, because it's no good us all doing the female work. If you've got sons, if you've got brothers, if you've got, speak to them, make them aware when they start going out on nights out, when they start having sex, when they're at that age. Let's talk about consent a little bit more, because that will help all of us. And then also a couple of charities and a couple of places that
I've got some.
You've got a couple, haven't you? And there was a few that I found. Rape Crisis, they're open to call 24/7.
They're incredible.
And then I found the Survivors Trust.
Yep.
I don't know if you've got any other.
There's Solace Women's Aid.
Solace Women's Aid.
Yep. There is London Survivors Gateway.
Yep.
Victim Support National. Of course, you can go to Samaritans, if obviously things are really difficult. There's also a company called Sister Space.
Right.
Yeah, they're really good as well at supporting...
Sister Space.
Yes, rape and domestic violence victims as well. So, yeah.
Because this is the thing, we're talking about your story, but rape and sexual abuse comes in, like you've just said, in the family, partner's husband.
Yeah, because
can be-
remember the lady? I hate the fact that I can't remember her name because I think it's disrespectful for me to talk about her case. The French lady whose husband was drugging
Yes.
her. Now, if he hadn't filmed it himself,
Why would that?
what proof would she have had?
There we go. Right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, what's your Instagram? It's Loyce. I can't remember the...
Loyce's gram.
Loyce. So how do we spell that? Loyce, Loyces, gram. If you want to follow her, because she is still like, this is your journey now, isn't it? And
Yeah,
you're
I'm still
sharing
going full steam ahead.
as things go.
The backlash has not slowed down things at all.
Good.
Yeah, I've still got things that I'm doing. And I think, I trust that in time, I think
It will all
come together. I
just
think it will
sit
do a full
calm.
circle.
Everything always works out.
I think it will do a full circle. I've just got to give it time.
Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and I hope it gave you something to take away from one extreme to a bloody other. The bonus episode. Guys, my husband's on the bonus. Me fit husband's on the bloody bonus.
Yay.
You might get to see him. He might be in on your
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to listen to James, then head over to the bonus. So you can get our episode every Wednesday. You can watch it on YouTube. You can get it wherever you listen to your podcast. But we do have the bonus episode as well. If you are an Apple subscriber, you can listen to it. But trust me, if you've not seen my husband, you're going to want to watch it on fucking video. You're going to want to get onto Patreon, aren't they, Lucas? So you can watch it on Patreon and actually watch the bonus episode. And that's coming up on Friday. So thank you so much. And we've got Ashley back next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Loyce.